a couple more things before we answered questions from maybe SEC schedule release. Any big takeaways from the official release yesterday from the SEC about we knew the what and where of these games, but we didn't know the when. So what jumped out at you when we got the official release yesterday?
Yeah, so I texted you, Jack, and for the listeners, I'm feeling very bullish about this. I'm feeling very bullish about the way our schedule sets up. Like I mentioned it last time on the pod. Like I don't like our non-conference schedule doesn't terrify me. I like all those games are super winnable. At Virginia is definitely tough. Like Louisville, North Carolina, Kansas are tough games. We can win all those games, right? So like let's just be optimistic and say we drop 1, maybe 2 in the non-conference. It sets up in the SEC slate where you can very realistically, like you should almost be favored to start 7-0. There's maybe one game that maybe we wouldn't be favored, but like at Oklahoma, home against Ole Miss, you should win both of those. At Missouri is the one that I don't know if we'll be favored or not, but like that's a very winnable game still on its own. You're at Missouri on a Saturday. Last time we went to Como, we came out with a win, which was good. LSU at home, return to Mo Diabate. Vanderbilt at home, should win both of those. At Mississippi State, they have not beaten us since the Truman administration, so that's a win. And then Tennessee, which is Mark Pope's son. So that's like we're
look
rolling
at you,
right now.
Spencer. Look at you. Look at you getting a little chesty with it. I love it.
He's 4-1. He's 4-1 against Ricky B down there, and I think and the fact that they're coming to us first, that's a really good thing. So the first 7 games of the SEC slate, you're like, man, you're set up to kind of maybe go 7-0 in that stretch, maybe 6-1. But so if you drop only 1 or 2 in the non-conference, you're looking at your first 20 games of the regular season, you're 17-3, 18-2. That's really good. You're almost certainly top 10 in the country. You've got a lot of momentum. You're feeling good. Guys have settled into their role. Guys have bought in at that point. It's always really good to start hot because then guys buy into their roles. If you start poorly, kind of like last year for us, guys start to question their roles and they start to doubt it, and it takes longer to maybe eventually get them there. If you start hot, the guys they get that immediate payoff and they're like, oh, what we're doing is working. I should do more of that. And they really buy in. So yeah, you could be looking at like an 18-2 start to start the year. And then you get into a tougher slate. You got at Texas in the back half, at Tennessee in the back half, at Florida in the back half, so on and so forth. But like overall, I'm really pleased with our schedule. I don't think it's one of the harder schedules in the SEC. You get Alabama only once at home. Arkansas only once at home. Auburn only once at home. You only have to play Florida once. You only have to play Texas once. Those are 5 of the top 6 teams in the SEC, not counting Kentucky. And you only have to play them one time. And then you get Tennessee twice, and Vandy will be tough and stuff. So there are definitely tough games. But I actually really like how the slate is set up for us, and I think we could definitely get some momentum early, which is great.
Yeah, and it allows Kentucky to kind of build some beer muscles. And, you know, if I just remember where we were post-Missouri, where it's probably closer to Alabama, because that was, I think people forget that they were totally healthy for that game. Like that was the full roster top to bottom. Like Jalen Lowe played well. Jaden Quaintance played a full game. Like they were at full strength for that matchup and got run out of the gym. And I remember leaving that one knowing that we had lost, the 2 lost the first 4 name brand opponents to start the year, built some momentum against Indiana. That was, that we knew that Indiana was down. So it didn't feel as good. It felt good just to get the first one, but didn't feel the way it should have, when we saw that game on the schedule. And then you felt like you were right back where you needed to be against St. John's. And then to start SEC play, the way those 2 games unfolded, Jaden Quaintance especially not looking right after Missouri, and then we never see him again. Like, I just remember where I was thinking, like, man, we have dug ourselves a hole that I don't know how you dig out of it. Like, I don't know how we're going to recover from this. So it can have the reverse effect where you build up, kind of like Vanderbilt last year, where they just ran through the non-conference, beat up on everybody, and they kind of turned into the media darling of the SEC. And they finished as, number 4 seed in the league and played really well. And maybe slight frauds, but they were good. Like it was a good team, and they earned it by taking care of business in the early games the way they should have, and then having a solid SEC season to finish a year, super strong and have a good little, NCAA tournament push. So you can kind of have that same effect where you just build confidence, you run through the non-conference, get that 6-0, 7-0 start or whatever in the league, and then you're starting out 17-1, 18-1, whatever, and you're like, well, damn, let's just finish the job. Let's see if we can close out this regular season with 7 losses, 6 losses, whatever. So you can lose, you then build up that cushion, and you don't have to kind of go into a Florida game and just feel like I don't know how we're going to do this. You kind of play with house money at that point. We're like, well, shoot, we've already positioned ourselves super well. Like, what difference does it make? So I'd love to be able to have some pressure-free games down the stretch and account for maybe some injury bug or whatever. Just having a cushion would be really nice. So, and I think the way the schedule laid out, it's definitely allowed for that. So, we're on the same page there. I didn't agree with some of the criticisms and some of the pushback about how the SEC schedule looked for Kentucky. I think it's going to be just fine. All right.
I think, sorry, one last thing on that. One of my favorite traditions that we have going right now at Kentucky is we always seem to, on one Saturday afternoon in mid to late February, we just absolutely blitz a pretty good team at home. We just blow them out of the water. No matter what kind of a season we're having, every year we blitz somebody towards the end of February at home. Last year it was Vandy. The year before that, I've got it pulled up here. It was, who did we blitz? I think it was maybe Tennessee, Vandy again. We blitzed Vandy by 25 points. The year before, if you remember, we blitzed Alabama. That was the not Aduthier. That was the Justin Edwards game.
10 for 10, baby.
The year before that, we blitzed Auburn again. They came in as like a top 15 team, and we blew them out by like 40. So anyways, we always blitz somebody towards the end of February at home. And our 2 home Saturday games at the end of February are Arkansas and who is the other one? And Auburn again. So early candidates for teams that we might blow out late in the year if you want to get your Vegas bets in early.